Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks so much for kicking off your afternoon right here. 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We got one final hour, and we got a great hour coming up. We got our man Basil Chapman at 3:15. We're talking to our man Tim Ord at 3:30. And don't forget, folks, you still time to get in there. Basil's webinar, we'll talk about it at 3:15, right on the front page for opening call subscribers. You can always add some Tiger dollars to add some savings to that as well. So we pick it up with a little bit of a choppy market on a jobs Tuesday. We get 2 months of jobs data this morning. The unemployment rate goes up. Wage data up 3.5% year over year. That's one of the lowest numbers we've seen going years back. And we have markets right now. Can't quite figure out which way we want to go. We were down to as low as 68.20 on almost two occasions. And even in the last 45 minutes or so, this market's up 30 points in the S&Ps from where we were. You check it out on a daily basis, talking about the volume. And yeah, we're doing some volume today. Today, already as much volume as we did yesterday. And you're probably going to come into, depending on the final hour. But the final hour is always a good one. We'll get volume on the close. So we have some selling today with volume. NASDAQ 100, as I speak, we get into the green. Look at the volume on a daily on the NASDAQ. We've already done almost 600,000 contracts. Yesterday, you did 500,000. Dow, similar action. We got volume across the board today. It's a jobs Tuesday. We should get some volume. You get some action, you kick it off, and you get the Russell off by 0.7% right now. You check out the heat map, okay? And we get the Dow down 347 points. Well, yeah, you got Goldman off a full percentage point. That's a $900 stock. Okay. UNH down 2.7%, $331 stock. Now, what's remarkable is healthcare, one of the greatest areas of the jobs in terms of this morning. And I'm going to pull up later in the program in terms of the huge developments about, it's happening right here in Florida in terms of the build out of healthcare. And yeah, healthcare jobs, 46,000 jobs in November, okay? November payrolls were 64,000 for the month. Of that 64,000, 46,000 came from healthcare, which is more than 70% of the net increase. Timely as Obamacare, the subsidies, all of that getting a lot of attention, of course. And yeah, healthcare jobs pushing this market higher. When you look at the headline numbers, though, in terms of where we were in jobs, we had 64,000 in November. You had 105,000 in October decrease. Now, that October decrease of 105,000, 157,000 plunge in government payrolls, which was a deferred impact of some of the options to the federal workers for them to take their cuts and get out of that job. So that, hitting that. Eight of 13 categories posted increases. Motor vehicles, though, down almost 2%. One of the parts there that's hitting it is that electric vehicles alone doesn't take a lot to bring the whole thing down 1.6%. When you think about the EV sector alone, lost $7,500 credits in there. And on the wage front, as I mentioned, wages up 3.5%. But that's what it looks like on the chart. You go back to May, weakness across the board, right? May, 19,000. Then we drop 13,000 in June. You add 72 in July. We lose 26 in August. You add 105 September. You lose 108 in October. And then we add 64 in November. And of that 64, you add a lot of healthcare jobs in there. Now, the one thing, the market seems weak. 3-month average, 22,000 jobs. 3-month average, 22,000 jobs. We keep that up, the unemployment rate is going up. The unemployment rate right now is 4.6%. Okay? Now we check out yields. Couldn't quite figure out which way they wanted to go, but now we are a little bit higher by about 5 ticks from where we were at 8:30 this morning. You see the initial spike to higher price, lower yield. And the logic there is, listen, if wages are only going up 3.5%, the lowest number that we've seen in years, and we have an economy that's adding only 20,000 jobs a month, the Fed is going to be worried about the full employment side of the mandate. Okay, now that's your 10-year. You jump over to the 2-year, which is much more Fed dependent, And yeah, we're pushing the highs. 104.13. Now, you're only 2 ticks higher from where we were at 104.11 this morning. But nonetheless, you are higher price, lower yield. And yeah, we've been talking about it. The dollar remains under pressure. 98.11. We accelerate to 97.86 this morning. You jump over. Gold catches a bid on that acceleration to a weaker dollar this morning. And we check out the volume on gold. And same deal as some of the equities. Gold, already as much volume as we did yesterday. And we were really close to all-time highs this morning. We hit 43.67, so about $31 away from all-time highs. We're trading at 43.42. And you jump over to silver on a volume basis for silver. Yeah, that was quite a sell-off on Friday with volume. You bounce on lighter volume. And nothing too remarkable today for silver. You jump over the VIX right now. Volatility index. As we're approaching the NASDAQ in positive territory, the VIX approaching the lows of the session at 1646 right now. All right, we jump around to some of the market leaders out there. Apple up by 0.1%. Quite a sell-off yesterday. Got to talk about Tesla. How about it, man? Tesla up by 2.3% right now. And yeah, you're within almost $2 of all-time highs. We hit a high of 487.25 this morning, so about $1.25 away from all-time highs. Tesla, quite a run when you think about it, right? Where was the buy? Where was the buy on Tesla? Well, you could have bought it down here, but you know where the buy was, folks? You had this consolidation down here. You came back. You tested that consolidation on the day he had a spat with the president. I mean, think about it. Now, almost tongue-in-cheek, right? But boy, the low of that day, we haven't seen it. Well, maybe we'll never see it again. As Tesla's trading at 486 right now. And you're going to have some volume, okay? On a daily basis, yesterday you did 115 million. Not sure we'll get there today, though. 82 million shares currently on Tesla. On a weekly basis, though, you know, it's only Tuesday, folks, on Tesla. And you've already traded almost 200 million shares, and you did 350 last week. Imagine that. You could break the weekly totals by tomorrow. Now, you're bumping up against, really, you'd like to see a number around 500 million on a weekly basis. Tesla, trading higher. Uber shares, trading lower. All right, folks, we're coming back with our man Basil Chapman. Stay tuned.